TikTok, other social media controlled by our enemies, must be banned now. We can't wait any longer. Bipartisan congressional bill which protects Americans from enemy spying, data gathering, and manipulation. Listening to TikTok's spokespeople, we would think they represent an ordinary Silicon Valley tech company. But then, again, most businesses don't have to release statements, are citing that the Chinese Communist Party has neither direct nor indirect control of their operations. I've seen a lot of blatant lies from corporations over the years, but this may be one of the worst. The evidence that China is using TikTok to spy on and influence American citizens is clear, and it only keeps mounting as time goes on. Moreover, Beijing's influence of ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, is undeniable. Not only does Chinese law compel ByteDance to hand over data at a moment's notice, but the Chinese government also holds an ownership at stake in the tech giant's domestic subsidiarity. As the nation debates TikTok and its risks, it is important to explain exactly what is happening behind the scenes. On the surface, TikTok appears to be just an app for making funny, engaging videos. What's so dangerous about it? The only problem is that TikTok is much more than a platform for talented content creators. With roughly 1 billion users worldwide and 140 million users in the United States, including two-thirds of American teens, TikTok is also an extremely effective tool for disseminating ideas and information, and it is one of the largest treasure troves of the US consumer data in the world. In the 21st century, ideas, information, data can be weaponized quickly and without the knowledge of those targeted. There are a few groups more ready and willing to do this than the Chinese Communist Party. This has been true since the days of Mao Zedong, but under Party General Secretary Xi Jinping, Beijing has become especially focused on weaponizing the digital realm. In 2015, China established a new division of the People's Liberation Army to lead the charge in public opinion manipulation and psychological warfare. Since then, the Strategic Support Force researchers have published papers and disseminated dissertations on how to identify internet users across different social media networks and automated propaganda dissemination on the web. Remember that whoever has access to and controls TikTok can influence all of the app's users. This is not about a company gaining an algorithm to sell sneakers or sketchy healthcare supplements. It is about an adversarial government manipulating tens of millions of Americans without their knowledge. No one should entrust China sign-ups or worse with that privilege. Another source of danger is the Ministry of State Security, China's premier spy agency and security police force. Analyst Adam Kozy reports that Beijing has specifically tasked the MSS with synthesizing big data collection for targeting purposes. Don't imagine for a second there are any legal barriers in China to stop it from doing this. Nor is of this hypothetical. On the contrary, we see it happening in the real time. Public documents accessed by the Washington Post reveal Chinese state media, propaganda departments, police, military, and cyber regulators buying software to mine data from American social media platforms to get them information on foreign targets. Now, think about the Beijing will do with the scope and reach of TikTok. China is already accessing American data through backdoors in the app. That data is being used to track reporters, censor references to genocide in Xinjiang, and suppress votes for political candidates who are tough on Beijing. It is even pushing young teens towards self-harm. Things will only get worse as the party's ability to weaponize technology advances. The SSF, the MSS, and other digital operatives will use TikTok to manipulate children and young adults, exacerbated our divisions, further weaken our social fabric, targeted anti-exile forces, and sabotage the US government operations. The vulnerabilities are almost limitless, and it would be beyond naive to believe China won't exploit them. After all, this is the man who warned America against bullying and pledged, whoever nurtures delusions of doing that will crack their heads and spill blood on the Great Wall of the Steel, built from the flesh and blood of 1 billion Chinese. Those are not the words of your friendly Silicon Valley CEO. Those are the words of a man preparing for the battle. We cannot afford to ignore the national security threat posed by his access to our data. Congress has a bipartisan bill to ban all social media apps controlled by foreign adversaries, including TikTok. Now we just need to find the leadership and political will in Washington to act.